10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Not to get off track here, but I feel like we're in the Truman Show, and we're in a snow globe, and they just shook it up.
Welcome to reality.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your protection from deception right here on truthfrequencyradio.com and streaming Hour 1 live on the Jeranism YouTube channel. Everybody together is currently tuned into the number one show on Truth Frequency Radio on Monday nights between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific. That's 9 to 11 Eastern. That show is Jeranism Monday Night Raw, and it starts now. I'm your host, Jaren from Jeranism, and with me, as always, the great and powerful David Maldonado Weiss. David, how are you this week?
There will be no surprises today because everything we said before the show went out live on the air.
Oh, no. What did we say before the show?
Not a whole lot.
I don't think we said much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't much
Just
we
that
said.
Mitchell is a tool and nobody should trust him. That's
David,
all.
do you love me? Oh, it's too funny. I have to picture him getting out of his car and doing that little dance that people do. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do appreciate it. Thank you to those in the chat, wherever you might be, or the TFR chat. We do appreciate it. And just a reminder that we'll be simulcasting this live for the first hour, and then the second hour we'll be moving over to the Ginger Sugar Bush 905 channel, or you can just go to tfrlive.com, and then click the listen now, and you'll be able to catch the second half of the show free and live, and everything will be great for everyone. So the way the show will go tonight is we will do as we always do and chit-chat for about the first hour, and then the second hour will take your calls. So if you want to get in line to do that, you can go ahead and do so. The phone number to call in is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. So we got plenty to talk about, Dave. I got a lot of stuff. One thing I wanted to mention is that about 3 or 4 days ago, I noticed that you must have been having some sort of issue with your app because I turned it on, and again, I could not find the moon.
Yeah, I've got a lot of complaints that the moon disappeared again, and
damn that moon.
I sent out. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, I sent out probably 30 emails explaining that it's a new moon. And there is no moon, and to turn on the time lapse, and it'll come back. So I'm wondering, does NASA get a lot of calls around that time of the month?
Asking, where did the moon go? They might. I don't know.
Hey, NASA, there's no moon in the sky.
What's going on?
Something's wrong with the sky projector.
Sky projector. Yes, I also want to get into that a little bit. I was talking to Dave earlier this week about some clouds that I saw, and Dave told me that clouds are souls.
No, stars are sold.
Sorry.
Clouds are people too.
Oh, clouds are people too. Thank you, by the way. You were the first person to ever donate on my Venmo account.
Oh, yeah, that was so fun. I was like, he finally got Venmo because I'm Venmo rich. People pay me on Venmo, and I'm too late. I don't send it to my bank account, so it's just like burning a hole in my Venmo pocket.
Nice. So you're Venmo rich and sent me $6.66.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Not that rich.
I feel very, 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 very good about that.
Venmo rich is when you have more than nothing in your Venmo account. That means you're Venmo rich because it's like found money.
Oh, nice. Well, I have $6.66 in my account, so that feels really good. So yeah, I didn't even know about Venmo. I guess I don't really know how it works, but I did find out today that my username is just simply @Jeranism. So I guess it's that easy, huh?
Yeah, it's actually a great app. It's so easy to use. There's no fees. It's instantaneous. So
what good, is
it's how like whenever my kids or friends we need to transfer money to each other, just you Venmo it. It's real easy.
So what's the difference between that and PayPal? Or is there a difference, or is it just
There's a little bit of a difference. Venmo is easier, I think. It just the app is easy to use.
Yeah,
it's very similar to PayPal, I guess. But
yeah.
It's
It's interesting to see the community stuff in there because, I just turned it on and I'm looking and it's like, it tells me all these people paying each other for food, it'll say for smokes, for trip, it's just weird that you can kind of see what everybody does.
You can mark it as not public if you don't want people to see it. But what did I write on yours?
Clouds are people too.
Oh, clouds are people too. That's right. That was like 5 a.m., right?
Yeah, 5 a.m. for you, maybe 2 a.m. for me. Luckily, my phone is not in the bedroom when I'm sleeping. So I did get it this morning, and I do appreciate that. So thank you. So, yeah, if anybody has Venmo, you could do that. But, Dave, let's talk real quick.
Wait, hold on. As long as we're talking about clouds are people too.
Okay. We're not talking about that, by the way.
We're not talking about that.
No, you were talking about that, but go ahead.
You look at whenever there's white, fluffy clouds, which are amazing, they hit them with the chemtrails and they destroy them. So what is going on with the spraying and the destroying of the clouds? There's something going on up there. The region above us, people call the heavens, and there's spiritual beings. There's something going on up there. Clouds, we're told that clouds do these deluges of water on us, but we can fly through them, and there's not that much water up there. I mean, there's supposedly trillions of pounds of water, and they're not. There's something else to a cloud.
I can't
Why do
disagree with you.
clouds have the definitive edges on them and appear and disappear in certain areas? There's something more. They're lying to us. Remember? They're lying to us about water.
Right.
And water is not what they told us. Water holds so much information, and there's something up there. It's an etheric being. I don't know what the hell it is, Jaron. Where the hell do we live?
Where the hell do we live? Well, the one thing I know is that I don't live on a spinning space rock. I've tried to rationalize that over and over again. And last night, if people saw my live stream, I went out and observed the ISS, and then after that live stream, I went out again just to kind of look at the stars, and I can't grasp anymore. The stars are so damn close, Dave. They're right there.
They're right there.
Yeah.
I mean, in the morning there was a bright star next to just before the sun came up. I guess maybe it wasn't a star; it was probably Venus or something. But it was right there. I mean, I could, if I had a wrist rocket, I could hit it with a rock.
Yeah, they seem to be right there. And if people are looking for that video from last night, I did pull it because of many reasons. Number one, it was blocked in 15 countries, which then I get so many people emailing me and saying, I can't watch this video, I can't watch that. It's just easier to pull it. And the other thing is, it was just an observation. And what I do is I set my system up so that I can record the live stream from NASA's ISS, supposedly, and then go out and watch it go over my head. It was at a place where probably the best viewing I've ever had it, which was 89 degrees, meaning right above my head. It would pass right above me. And the hard part was I came back inside, sat down, and continued the live stream, but I had no idea of what everyone saw. I wish I would have, because when I went back and watched, the second I went outside, first thing that happened is we got the blue screen, and then we get the switching cameras screen, as always, from NASA. And then when it came back, it just showed a black Earth underneath it. So again, it's just a useless observation. Okay, yeah, there's a light that went above my head. Something flew over me, but that's about the most you could get out of it. And then at the end of the video, I discussed something that I had also talked about on Globebusters that I've kind of backtracked on a little bit. My favorite thing to do is backtrack. But I have this issue with the sun that we see from the north when the sun does its orbit around us, and then when you're high enough or close enough to the North Pole, you actually just see the sun do its 24-hour motion. And I set up my globe. Dave got to see that on FaceTime today. Set up the globe in the garage and kind of tilted it and put it on a wire so that it could spin. And then I was putting my camera on it and trying to spin and look at a distant object. And what I noticed at first was that the sun seemed to do a circle. And I described it both in my live stream and on Globebusters as it would be a zigzag. So I kind of, I look back now and I'm like, oh, no, it's more of a circle. And then as I watched the circle and I said, well, that seems to be kind of what we see. And with the globe, it was kind of showing that. And I said, well, how does the flat Earth explain that? But then it made sense to me that the sun is going further and closer, further away and then closer to you. And the fact of it getting to its peak or getting to the furthest reaches of its extent, it's going to have like a little pause there, and then that kind of explained it. So anyway, that video is pulled. But Dave, does that make sense what I'm saying there? Or?
That the whole thing, whether the sun zigzags or circles, it's just so mind twisting to me. And I've kind of given up on it because it doesn't prove either. I think it's possible to see it both ways on a flat Earth and a ball Earth.
Yeah, and there's many things like that. That's why, going forward, at least for me, I'm really happy that I'm trading Bob my P1000 for his P900, and then I'm going to get that converted. That should be back to me within a week or so. And
Do you know that after owning a P1000, the P900 fits in your pocket?
Probably in your shirt pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a big difference in size. So I know Bob's super stoked that he's going to get a P1000, and I'm stoked that I'm going to get the P900 converted. Because what I really want to do is I want to go back out to that Monterey Bay, and I've talked about it a million times, expand that observation, because that's one that I just can't argue with. There's just no way, if there's this 30, 40, 50-foot hump of water in between me and the shore, the distant shore, that I would ever be able to see a reflection of the sun in a mirror that's sitting at water level. So, because here's the thing about the globe model is that they've had so much time to explain all their nonsense, right? So we can talk about gas pressure, we can talk about all these things, next to a vacuum. Well, some guy sent me a link to a Wikipedia article for hydrostatic equilibrium. Have you ever heard of this, Dave?
No.
Right. So this is the answer to how the atmosphere does not drift off into space. It says because the atmosphere is at hydrostatic equilibrium. So this is their excuse for that. And I said, okay, let me read about it and find out what it's about. And the Wikipedia basically says that when a fluid, which is what they consider the atmosphere, is at rest, or when the flow velocity is constant, it occurs when the external forces like gravity are balanced by the pressure gradient force. So I'm thinking about this. I'm like, okay, so they're saying basically the answer that we knew that they would give, gravity. And they're saying, well, gravity is pulling at the exact equalness of the, basically the force of the pressure gradient. So it's kind of saying, and then I started thinking, I said, well, this is just exactly what we've been saying the whole time, that gravity is relative density. And that's what we've been saying the whole time. And I've said that from the very beginning, where I said, gravity is weight. That's the definition of gravity. That's the the word comes from, gravitas, meaning weight. And when you really think about it and you start saying, okay, so we've got atmosphere, air, that has weight, and then you say, okay, well, it's a density gradient. It weighs more than the nothingness around it. So it falls down until when? Until it hits the earth. So you've got all these air molecules that are around us, and of course they would be heaviest at the ground layer, right? I mean, that makes sense.
So you're saying that the heavier molecules are down on the bottom, so that gives us the pressure gradient as we get higher and higher?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you want, and that's what I'm saying, is that when they say hydrostatic equilibrium, they're just basically saying the same thing, that it's a density gradient, but they're explaining it with this pulling force of gravity, and we can explain it with the fact that it's relative density. So again, but this is the problem that what I'm saying is that with the globe belief, they have all these things not figured out, but they're just excuses. And no matter what observation we make, they've got the excuse for it, right? I mean, how could they not? They've had 500 years, or you can believe they have 200 years or 100 years or however long you want to believe. They've had some of the masterminds of mathematics, guys with a worldview that said that the Earth cannot be special, the Earth cannot be in the center of the universe, must be a random place out in the middle of this random galaxy. Those guys with that worldview are very smart. They're mathematical and they are intelligent. They're able to make excuses for anything. So yeah, it's just like the stars being these trillions of miles away. That's just their excuse of why we don't see parallax and why. So again, it's like, I feel like I need to bring it back to the observations here on the Earth, that they can just make up anything. And I guess it gets to the point where you're like, well, how are you ever going to get around that? How can you get around somebody who's just going to make up anything as an excuse for what we see? So that's what I'm saying, is that if you've got some people that have got together, of course they say, oh, well, the atmosphere would blow off into space unless it's at hydrostatic equilibrium. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It just seems to me like they can get away with saying anything, and this is what ballers love. Ballers love that one word. They can send you a link to a Wikipedia and say, here, this is why it works. And then you read it and you're like, okay, well, I guess. I mean, but again, it's just like everything. Every link that I get to.
Ballers like the most is accusing us of exactly what they do. Like I made a comment, and I forget what it was on, and some ballers in there is like, "You're just a lazy researcher. The Earth is not flat. The whole thing." And I'm like, "All right, can you give me just one proof?" I always ask. I just want one, not 10, not 20, just one that you're willing to stand behind. And they send me the 10, proofs that we have that the Earth is a globe, and I'm like, we're the lazy ones. He just Googled, proofs that the Earth is a ball and sent the article and never did any research.
No, they love that. That's what I mean. They love the prepackaged. They love the prepackaged answer, right? It's the same thing.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I love the prepackaged answer too but we've done the research. When someone asks me a tough question, I say, here, watch this video. They've done the work. Like someone says, what about Antarctica? Why don't you just go there? And I'm like, well, the reason we can't go there is because of all of this. Watch Taboo Conspiracies. And sorry, Antarctica is closed. It's 30 minutes, but it's months and months and months of research that you don't have to do.
Right.
Watch it.
Right. That's not because when somebody watches that, if you watch that video, then you walk away with that with so much information, right?
Yeah. It's all backed up. It's not just a one-sided foregone conclusions.
Right, but the hydrostatic equilibrium answer is exactly the opposite of that. There is no research in that. It's just basically somebody saying, here, this is your answer, this is why, and that's all that Globers look for. So when they watch a video like mine where it says, how is this, and they think to themselves, wow, geez, he's right. How does the vacuum not pull the atmosphere off the Earth? So they go looking for it until they can find the one Wikipedia article that says, and at the bottom of this Wikipedia article, scrolling all the way down to the bottom, where it says atmospheric. This is the final sentence of the whole thing. It says, in the atmosphere, the pressure of air decreases with increasing altitude. Would you agree with that, Dave?
Yes.
I would agree with that. Okay. This pressure difference causes an upward force called the pressure gradient force. The force of the gravity balances this out, keeping the atmosphere bound to the Earth and maintaining pressure differences with altitude. So that's their explanation. So it just gets to the point where I'm like, okay, so it's not like we're going to have something to them that they just say, oh, we're stuck, you're right, the Earth must be flat. It's just never going to get there because they've got an answer to everything. It doesn't mean that the answer is correct or true. It just means that they've got an explanation for it. And we shouldn't doubt that. We shouldn't doubt that they're going to come back with that explanation. But it still takes a thinking person to actually rationalize what they're saying. And I'm going through this over and over again, reading it over and over again, and I say, wait a second, this is just the same thing as relative density. It's explaining why when I blow smoke out of a cigarette, it goes up, right? And somebody might say, well, why doesn't gravity pull it down? I've said that before. Why wouldn't gravity pull it down? Well, they just say, oh, well, it's because the atmosphere is balancing out. And we're like, oh, you're talking about relative density. You're saying that the smoke is less dense than the air around it. So it goes up. Well, that's
Jared,
exactly what we believe.
There's people are so indoctrinated and programmed into the ball that they will just make up anything to support it. They'll just make up anything because it has to be. Like my teacher,
but it's beyond that. Imagine,
I met with.
But hold on a second. Remember that the people that we're talking about, these scientists and these guys with this worldview, are extremely smart. So it's not just people saying, oh, these guys will just make up anything. It's like, no, they've built a very clever answer to everything. Now, those things are...
The people that we're talking to now didn't build the answer.
No.
Built before they were indoctrinated.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the scientists that put this stuff together and came up with hydrostatic equilibrium, they came up with a very clever answer, and then they can and then all these people who might hear my video and say, oh, well, how does that work? They go looking for an answer, and when they find hydrostatic equilibrium that happens to say what I just read in the bottom of the Wikipedia, that's their answer. They didn't have to do any research on that. They had to type in, basically, why does the atmosphere of Earth not fly off into space? And this is the answer you'll get.
Yep.
So
they'll do, when you keep hitting them with logical explanations, in the end they just say, as my teacher did, "Done. I'm done." You know, when you have an answer for everything, I'm done. Like I posted a meme of what stars should look like on the moon. You know, with the whole Milky Way bright versus what they show us, which is a black sky. And her response is, "How do you know what we should get?" So I explained that when we send a balloon up, all the stars disappear. When you're flying in a plane, there's only a few stars in the sky when you're at altitude over the ocean. I sent her the video of all the astronauts, contradicting each other on whether you can see stars or you can't see stars.
My favorite.
And her response is done.
Right. And I've heard every excuse possible for that. Oh, you don't understand what they're talking about. They mean when they're on the, but it's like, no, they don't get it. So that's what I'm saying. It's just easily packaged answers, and they'll ignore the important stuff. For instance, okay, so I show the sun going around in a circle around us, and I say, I think it should zigzag or whatever. And we can talk about that all day. And like you said, it works on a flat Earth, works on a globe Earth. The problem becomes the fact that there's never been a test that's ever proven that the Earth moves at all. So
every test has proven that it doesn't move.
Right. So this is what I'm saying is that they've got some clever answers for everything. They've got, and I mean, it's like even Coriolis force, when you get into that, their answers don't even work. It's like a flip-flop. It depends on what the question is, and then they'll be able to answer it. But it doesn't work in all areas. I mean, the whole idea of this Foucault pendulum, right? That cannot work, as they say, if the atmosphere moves along with the Earth in perfect unison, like they say. That's one reference frame. The Earth and the atmosphere above it, that's one reference frame. Everything's moving in lockstep. So sometimes they'll say, oh, no, well, the pendulum actually swings differently because the Earth is spinning underneath it. It's like, well, that makes no sense. The atmosphere that the pendulum is swinging in is also moving. So there's just so many problems with all their stuff, but they've got an answer for everything. And even though Coriolis wouldn't possibly explain the things that we get or the things that we see, they'll keep using it, and it becomes a problem. If the Coriolis force works as they say, with shooting bullets, and we need to aim over here, and it works for all these things, then it would clearly mean that planes would take a shorter amount of time to go from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States rather than the alternative, and it's actually the opposite. But again, they can just package some cleverly disguised mathematics as how they always do it. And again, if you read this hydrostatic equilibrium, you can look it up on Wikipedia. Just type in that, hydrostatic equilibrium. You can go down. I was trying to follow the math equations down here, and in every single equation, you have the G. It's a pre-decided number.
Or the R.
Right, exactly. Well, you have to have the R. Right. So this is what I mean. This is just cleverly done mathematics. And they've convinced the world that math is reality. And so that's what people think. And they think, oh, well, this equation proves it. Well, what do you mean? The equation that you've plugged in a radius, you've plugged in a gravitational force, and then you say, oh, well, they're equaled out. Well, yeah, you plugged in the gravity equation. So what do you mean it equaled out? You made it equal out because you have to have a reason why the atmosphere sticks to the Earth and doesn't fly off into space. So I'm just starting to realize more and more that this is just all cleverly done. And it's pretty sad, but that's why I'm talking about these observations at home, or the things like the tests that keep proving over and over again. There's never been a test that shows that the Earth moves. That should be enough, shouldn't it be? If we're talking about science, there's never been. So the Earth is at rest. Period. And so that makes sense to me. And then as soon as I get this P900 with the modification, I want to get back out to the Monterey Bay and do that observation again, and maybe do it a little tighter, and then also extend that observation even further, make that hump between both shores even higher, and then they can try to explain it, because there is no clever, well, they'll still come up with some clever mathematics, but there is no mathematics in my mind that's telling me that the person who's on the other shore, who has a mirror down at the water level, is somehow being bent up and around that hump of water. No, that's a huge obstruction between me and the person on the other shore, and if you can see that reflection, that's the biggest proof I can think of that the Earth is definitely flat. It's not curved. There's nothing falling away from you into the distance. So
Sharon,
anyway,
so you're trading your P1000 for P900. That's some trade.
Yeah, Bob made out on that one, but I actually get a better better memory card out of it, and a couple filters, including a solar filter. So yeah, Bob and I played Let's Make a Deal
Bob's
today.
Still making out. Maybe you can get a couple of those Flat Earth Man CDs from him.
He actually agreed to do that. I'm going to get 10. That was actually in the deal, believe it or not. So
that'll up his sales.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Flat Earth Man, do we have enough time to address this topic, or do you want to wait until after the break?
Let's wait till after the break, because we've only got a minute 56 left to go. So yeah, I talked about my ISS observation. Talked about star distance, which I think is important.
I want to ask you about your ISS observation.
Sure.
how bright was it? Clear sky? Was it like a piece of fire in the sky? Was it brighter than Venus? How bright was it?
Yeah, it's far brighter than any star.
Okay.
Yeah. And the same thing happens though. If you try and zoom in on it, you get the same thing that you get when you try and zoom in on a star. You get like kind of out of focus. That big circle kind of appears, looks like a colored blotch. So there's no way you're going to get any kind of form of the ISS or anything like that from a photo or a video. At least that I've never been able to do it with the P900 or the P1000. So yeah, it was very bright, and it came up about 2 or 3 minutes after it was supposed to. Pretty close to the time. I went right over my head. Yeah.
When they show us video of the ISS from the ISS, it's never bright. You never have to squint when you're looking at it. How is it possible that we see this bright light from the ground?
Oh, yeah, I've always said that. You mean the video from the ISS, how it just shows it?
Yeah, when the ISS shows you, there's always a piece of the ISS in the footage when they're showing you, how come it isn't bright like that?
No, it doesn't do anything like it's supposed to. I've done so many videos on the ISS, and the fact that the video that we see is certainly not, and that's what I'm kind of trying to prove, but it's still not proof. It's just an observation, and I have to get away from calling it proof. But every time I go to observe, and I've done this many times, the clouds that they show from the ISS aren't at all what I see from the ground. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move.
When you have a great melody,
a song lasts forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smart car, smartphone, or smart TV and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Travis Cook, America's Evil Genius, here to invite you to join us every Tuesday afternoon here on Truth Frequency Radio. No, on our show you will not see a bunch of three-piece suits or a cocktail party, and you certainly won't see a bunch of inside the Beltway banter. But you will see eye-gouging, crotch-kicking, no-holds-barred political discussion, the likes of which you won't see anywhere else in media. America's Evil Genius. We come to you every Tuesday from the outskirts of war-torn St. Louis, Missouri, where there's always a good race rider sex scandal just around the corner. Join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and noon on the left coast right here on TFRLive.com. America's Evil Genius, Travis Cook, on TruthFrequencyRadio.com.
You are now tuned into the Truth Frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth
Frequency Radio.
All right, welcome back. You are listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw. Before the break, we were discussing the ISS observation. And again, David, here's my issue. So we can always look into the sky and can see the ISS at night, right? But from the ISS, we cannot see anything on the Earth. So I don't understand that. What about a football stadium? What about Las Vegas? Like, you're telling me that from the Earth, I can see the ISS fly above in the black sky, but when the ISS is flying above the black Earth, I can't see Vegas. I can't see New York. It's just ridiculous. So again, this is the problem. This is the convenience that NASA has, that during the day I can't see the ISS, but they will show me video from above. But at nighttime, when I can see it, I can't see video of the Earth. So it's a perfect thing to never really prove that what we're seeing is coming from that craft. That's my opinion of it, and that's why I still have a problem with it and try and make these observations. I've done it before. And it didn't show up at all, but I even went up there and tried to shoot a laser at it, and said, okay, let me see if I can watch a video as it goes above and see if it can see the laser. Well, of course it can't. If it can't see Vegas, it's not going to see my laser. So it's just very convenient for them, and the same observation happened again. Maybe I'll release, because I did save that video before I deleted it from YouTube. So maybe I'll put back out at least the observation point and make some points about what was seen. But doing it live was a little bit difficult because, as I said, I came back in the house and at that point couldn't rewind my own live stream. So I just had to go about and talk about, I wonder what we'll see. Then after the show was over, I was able to rewind and watch it. And of course, the thing went black right as I went outside. And then when it came back, all you saw was just blackness under the ISS. Pretty ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that we think we can see the ISS at 25 times the height of a 747 flying at cruising altitude, where they're approximately the same size, it's utter nonsense.
Right, and how much bigger is the the Las Vegas Strip than the ISS? It's
right.
Quite a bit bigger and probably quite a bit brighter than just a little sun reflection off of some tin can in space that I don't even believe that it's flying in the vacuum of space. I don't think anything can. So anyway, that's what you missed. Thank you for the super chat. I just see a super chat over here. I have a P900 and I live in Monterey. Want to help? Oh, awesome. Thank you, Rhino. I will let you know. How can I email me, jeranism at Yahoo, and put Monterey in the subject. I'm going to write that down. Because we're going to need some people out there to help. And I know, we'll have Wendell and we'll have Nathan and the guys from the Flat Reality Earth Explorers YouTube channel. They'll be out there again to do it, and we'll have lots of cameras, and we'll be able to see what we can see and go from there. So, yeah, I like some of these earthbound observations. Again, it's just so ridiculous to me. I can't even fathom the whole globe idea anymore. It's like I put that globe up in my garage today and was playing with it, and it's just simply fascinating that I can go out on my front porch and stand and stare at the North Star. It doesn't move. It's right there. And I just stand there. But yet I'm supposedly...
It didn't always be there. It used to not be there.
Yeah, sure.
And there's a new one coming in 25,000 years. Speaking of 25,000 years, I read today, I sent you the article that...
Oh, should I tell people?
Tesla may crash into Earth.
Yep, I'm reading it from the mir.co.uk. Elon Musk's space-flying Tesla Roadster could crash into Earth, experts warn. Now, here's the problem with that warning, is if we scroll down a little bit longer, it says it could crash into Earth, Venus, and the Sun are the three most likely targets, according to the Daily Express. So I scroll down a little bit further, And it tells us that it wouldn't happen for tens of millions of years. So I'm glad experts have warned us.
Thanks for the warning.
Thank
we'll
you.
have to wait and see. Time will tell.
I will leave a message for my great grandchildren that they better watch out for this. That just makes no sense to me. Come on. So they launched a car into space and then sent it off towards Mars, and it's going to go around Mars and come back and hit the Earth in tens of millions of years. By the way, it also says that as if this car will last that long. You know? Oh, it's just so funny. I guess things last millions of years now. So yeah, it's pretty interesting article. You can check that out. Like I said, mirror.co.uk and look up the SpaceX Tesla Roadster is coming back to crash into Earth. Experts warn. Very, very scary.
We were going to talk about ways to support YouTubers and talk about about conspiracy music guru Alex.
Yes. Go ahead. Do you want to start?
So again, I always say tip the bartender. You're always willing to leave a tip if you really enjoy a show. Donate $1 or $5 or whatever you want to do, just something. But if you don't want to spend, put any extra money out, you have a great way, which is if you're buying something on Amazon, and lots of us do, just go through your site. Doesn't cost you any more, and then you get to steal some of the profits from Jeff Bezos. Nothing could be better than that.
No, no complaints there. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, Flat Earth man. He made an amazing album. Videos. It's super amazing. But he made it in a time where CDs have gone, and now it's digital, and people aren't so apt to buy a digital download when it's already on YouTube and they could download it for free.
Right.
Agreed?
Yeah, you can just get an MP3 of it. You can make your own little playlist, and then you've got Flat Earth Man's entire album on your phone for free. Yeah.
So, you could always send a donation to him, but again, a lot of people don't want to do that. One thing you can do is you can mirror his videos, but here's the catch that triggers people, and it actually, it triggers me and you. When you mirror one of his videos, before you even hit the upload button, you get what looks like a copyright strike. And it's not a copyright strike. It's just a warning like, hey, this is copyrighted music. No skin off your back. It's okay that you're doing this. It's just any ad revenue that happens goes to Flat Earth Man. So I look at that video, at that email, as a confirmation that you have donated to Alex. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, it's exactly the point. I mean, for me, specifically, there's one time before that I put his song at the end of one of my long live streams. It was like 6 hours of a live stream, and at the very end, I said, "Oh, and here's a song by Flat Earth Man." Played it, and then get a copyright saying he's going to make the money from that video. That's fine. I understand that. But then what I learned from that was, okay, in the future, when I'm going to play a Flat Earth Man song, because I want people to hear the song, I want to help him out, and I have not donated any money to him, nor have I purchased his album on iTunes. So what do? I've posted, and if you look at my account, you'll see, or my YouTube channel, you'll see 2 or 3 times in the last month or two where I've just posted one of his videos. Now, I know that doing that, I'm going to immediately see a copyright claim saying, hey, this is copyrighted, no big deal, but he will be making the money from the ads in this video. So that's my way of paying Alex back for the music that he's given me. And so that's how I do it.
And also, it's a great way to wake people up. I've woken people up. I'm sending them videos and this and that. I'm like, oh, you think satellites are real? Here, watch this. And I sent them satellite hoax, and they can't stop but listening. And there's so much information in that video. It's amazing, and then it's stuck in their head.
Right.
Then so it's really a great way to do it. So if you have a channel, if you don't have a channel, just make a channel, put it up, share it. It might be a good way to even start your own channel if you haven't done anything yet. Get some content on it.
I would agree. Yeah, if you have a channel that even has at least it's not a copyright strike, it's not a takedown request. Those are the scary ones when you get those ones that need to be pulled, or you need to take it down, or you're going to get a strike on your account. These aren't that kind of strikes. These are just
the email
ones.
Looks like one of those.
They are. Yeah, they are a little bit
scary. You just got to read the first line. It's like, don't worry, you've done nothing wrong. It's okay. And it is. Just look at that email as the confirmation that you are donating to to Alex for all of his hard work and those amazing songs.
Yeah, because I love the songs. And like I said, I didn't buy the album because, as we just said, I was able to use YouTube to find all the songs and make myself a playlist on YouTube. And so if I ever want to listen to it, I have it. So to pay him back, that's the way I do it. I've posted a few of his videos. Space is Fake, the other one. The most recent one, what's that called again? I can't remember the name of it. Don't let them lose your mind.
Don't let them steal your mind, or whatever the name was.
Right. So, put those videos up. And when I do, I just put that video by itself. And this way, I don't think bad or say, oh man, I had a 6-hour time lapse 6-hour live stream. And I put his video at the end. So I just learned from that. And now, because I want to pay him back and I want to say thank you. And that's my way of doing it. And I think other people can do it as well. So,
and it's a great addition to anyone's channel too. It's when someone comes across that, it gets recommended, then your next video gets recommended.
Right. No, I totally agree. The other thing I did, David, I don't know if you had done this yet, but I'll tell everybody about it because it's only about $10. You can find them on Amazon. I bought a 2-pack of 3D glasses and just got those the other day and sat back in front of the TV and watched Jay Tolan Media's stuff. Man, you have to see it. You have to see
his
this
stuff. I noticed it's 3D. You have to get the glasses, right?
You got to get the glasses. Yeah, it's the only thing that if you're thinking 3D, like, and I found some videos on YouTube that I was able to watch that actually show things like popping out of the screen. Like you'll reach your hand in front of your face and like, hey, I can grab that item. There is videos like that on YouTube. His aren't like that, but what they do is they add depth. And if you can picture, we're on the radio, so I can't really show you. But if you picture that view of Mount San Jacinto. From the video I did or the video he's done, the 123-mile observation, when you see that video, all of the buildings and the ground layer stuff seems to be like a block. It's just a very 2D image, and it's kind of hard to tell that there's any depth there. When you put on these 3D glasses and watch his 3D version, all of a sudden, all that gets laid out. It actually looks like the mountain is way behind there and that you see the depth of the cities and you can move left and right and it kind of adjusts the picture. I don't know how you do it. I know on my video editor there's options for 3D stuff. I have never done anything like that. I don't even know where I would begin. I think it requires taking pictures from 2 different locations, like left and right, and then you mix them somehow. But anyway, if somebody wants to have a little fun with that. And then also there's other cool things on YouTube. You just look up 3D glasses videos, or there's lots of, roller coaster. I don't know. It's kind of fun for $10. I don't remember the exact brand name, but we got 2 glasses, one for me and Missa, and they come in a little case, and they were like $10 for 2. So it was a great deal.
Did
and
you use the link that's on your website on the upper right-hand corner?
I am not allowed to do that, my friend.
What's that?
I am not allowed to do that. No, that's a big way to get kicked off of the Amazon program. So no, I don't use the link when I purchase things myself. But thank you to everyone who does use that link because technically they were the ones who made that purchase for me. So thank you. But yeah, check it out. Just look up 3D glasses. They don't get the paper ones just because I think those are kind of junky. But you can get these are actually nice like looking sunglasses. You wouldn't wear them outside. You'd look a little bit weird. But yeah, check it out. And I think he has a video of the moon. And then he's got Mount San Jacinto, and then he's also got one from one of his flights.
Wait a minute, he's making the moon 3D?
Yeah, he's got a 3D moon video.
Is the moon 3D?
Well, it looks like it when he puts it in the 3D. That one actually does look like it's kind of popping out of the screen a little bit. It's just interesting. It's fun, and I do agree with him, though. It really gives you more depth. So it's not going to be anything earth-shattering. But you'll put them on and you'll say, wow, this is really cool. This kind of gives a much more depth to the image or the video that you're used to seeing. So hopefully more people do 3D kind of videos. I don't even know how to start that. So, but pretty cool. So yeah, that we want to do that. We talked about Flat Earth Man. Last week we had a guy, John, call in. Dave, I don't know if you remember, but we were talking about the app, the Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock app, and how the stars were going to go around it when you were talking about adding the zodiac. And you remember the caller?
Yeah, that's coming. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, you should get it now, and you won't have to pay for the zodiac feature. That's a guarantee.
Sweet, I already got it. So I'm set.
All right.
Woo. Yeah. So the great thing is, do you remember the call from last week where the guy was calling to talk to us about whether the planets orbit and the way that the stars work? Remember that guy? I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, John. So tomorrow I have a call with him in the afternoon, and we're going to be talking about all that because he seems to have a really good grasp on it. And then the plan is, unless he pisses me off for some reason, the plan would be for him to come on the show next week, maybe for a half hour, and kind of teach everyone. Because some question I've been asked before, I think you asked me today, was it you or somebody else? Somebody said, Jaron, does Mars orbit the Earth or the Sun? And I said, I said the Sun.
I'm leaning towards that all of the lights in the sky are orbiting, circling
other lights,
the main light in the sky.
Right.
And there's, like when people say, what about the moons of Jupiter? Well, those are little lights that are orbiting the little light that we call Jupiter.
Yeah, no, I agree. So anyway, he seems to have a great grasp on that. So you'll have to tune in. I believe next week is when he'll be on, just for a half hour, just to discuss it. He does a great job, better job than I. And I want to talk with him tomorrow and kind of get a good idea of what he's talking about. Okay, great. Rhino sent another. Thank you for that super chat. That is awesome. And now I have your email address, so I'll send you an email right now or after the show. Just copied it. Thank you very much for that. Also got a super chat. Hey, guys, just want to tell you that here in South Australia, you can see every day of the week from Glenelg Beach to Cape Jarvis, 80 kilometers away, elevation of 1,000 feet, supposedly 1,200 feet of curve shouldn't be visible at all. So that is awesome. Hopefully, do you have some video of that or some photographs? I would love to see that. And I'll check out those two locations. 80 kilometers. What's that in miles, Dave? Come on, quick. Oh, you can't get it.
You got me.
I don't know what it is either. We got Gorilla Forilla said, "You're my sanity when Instagram spazoids get delusional." Well, thank you. I try to be my own sanity occasionally. 50 miles? 50 miles away and an elevation of 1,000 feet. And I'd have to know how high this location that you're looking at, the Glen Ellen Beach, and you're saying you can see it, the coast? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think he did the calculation where there's that much curvature from the altitude that he was at, but that's my assumption. I haven't done the math, but 50 miles is good. It proves that we're not on a ball.
Yeah, so I'm just doing it real quick. 50 miles, 1,000 feet. Wait a second. 1,000 feet of elevation of 1,000 feet, and
right.
You're 50 miles distance. Now, the hidden target should be 84 feet. So, yeah, because, the thing is, from 1,000 feet, that's how high they are when they observe Mount Canigou. And Canigou is 175 miles away. And that's supposed to have about 10,000 feet of curvature. So I was thinking there for a second, I was like, wait, I don't think you're talking about almost 4 times less distance, the same observation point. So, yeah, check out your math on that one, the raw caveat. But again, I would have to know what if you're saying you can see the beach, well, yeah, it says here 84 feet is supposed to be hidden. I would try and get a little bit lower and see what you can see. I don't know if you have to be at that elevation of 1,000 feet. So, yeah, thank you for the super chats, guys. I appreciate that. I did want to talk about real quick. Do we have time? What do we have left here? I don't even know. Oh, I got 8 minutes. Good. So, everybody, I do see some people lining up on the phone lines. So, yeah, please, if you want to call in, 213-233-3998. That is the number to get in line, and we'll take calls the second half. And again, people in the chat will spam the link if you want to follow this as we go over to the other channel. So the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is last week on Globebusters, and I don't mean yesterday's show, which was a very good show, by the way. Did you watch it, Dave?
I did.
Good. The entire thing?
I actually missed the very end because I had to call in to Crow, which you guys overlap with a little bit, who's on TFR
right.
When you guys should be ending.
Welcome to TFR, by the way, Crow and Jason. So yesterday's episode was the total annihilation of NASA and the heliocentric model that was on Globebusters. But the week before, we talked about Tartaria and giants and tunnels underground and mud floods and. I thought it was a very interesting show. It was great to sit back and hear Martin and UAP kind of tell us all some of their research. And some people in the Flat Earth community, Dave, became pretty upset at that. They said that, we're disinformation agents spreading disinformation. So I just wanted to, remind everybody that, I wish I had money. I wish I had the amount of money that it would take so that I could travel around and I could actually go and look at some of these so-called bones of giants, and that I could look at these tunnels underground. There's supposedly tunnels all under San Francisco, hundreds of feet deep, and that there's tunnels even in the city I'm in Merced, hundreds of feet deep. Now, I've never seen any of those, so yeah, you're just looking at images online, and same thing with the mud flood. Yeah, it's a lot of images, and I hear so many people saying, well, those images are faked, and how do you know the images are real? And the problem is that you don't. You don't have a way to know that they're real. But the problem is that our history is a total and complete lie. And if people don't understand that history is written by winners, then I don't know what to tell you. So if history is written by the winners, then you should know that all history is not true. Because the winner of any battle is not going to come back and tell you the exact truth and, oh, we did this, and it's going to be distorted. And so, and if they're trying to hide things from you, like, I mean, for instance, if there is giants, well, that doesn't fit at all with the idea of evolution and the ideas that we've been taught from school. So, of course, if there's any kind of data like that, it's going to be hidden from you. So it just bothers me when you've got people in the flat earth community that think that they are some sort of thought police that can go around and say, Globebusters, you shouldn't talk about this. When we're just some guys who sit around on Sunday, get together and talk about whatever we're interested in. And that particular day, go ahead.
Yeah, here's the way I look at it. You guys didn't say it was fact. You're just looking into it. And there's so much evidence that there was some sort of mud flood. I mean, it explains the Easter Island and Göbekli Tepe being buried. That there's so many buildings that don't make sense where there's many floors underground and windows in the ground. There's something to it, and it's very interesting to look into. If you haven't seen, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel Observation Deck, watch his last few videos, and you'll be researching this stuff even further.
All right, and let's also real quick backtrack on. We just got another super chat from the Raw Caviar. He said his elevation was 10 feet. So, okay, now we put that in, and 50 miles distance, calculate that. Okay, the hidden target is 1,400 feet, and he's saying the elevation of Cape Jarvis is 1,000 feet. Yep. So that's definitely one of the flat Earth proofs. We see too far. We've said that so many times. So yeah, I just wish more people would be open to hearing other people's thoughts. I mean, that's what's so impressive about YouTube to me, and I don't remember who said it. Was it last week when Stinky Cash or somebody said not everybody deserves a voice? I took
that was Stinky Cash, man.
I took exception to that.
The guy's coming around. I'm going to say it outright. He was being a prick to a lot of people. I think he's softened up a little bit since then, and he put out a video yesterday, and he just put out another one today about silver. Mm-hmm. Explained it better than anyone ever explained it in school to me. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching at least yesterday's video. I'm not vouching for today's yet because I haven't seen it
yet. You might be an opportunistic Jew in that one. I'm not really sure.
He did ask me how much gold I have, and I'm like, is that because I'm Jewish? And he's like accused me of wearing gold in a sack around my neck.
I've actually seen you wear that before. It's part of your normal ensemble. Yeah. So no, but I feel so differently that I think everybody does deserve a voice. And YouTube wants to be that platform, and I think that's awesome because it's up to me to decide what I want to watch and what I want to listen to and what research I want to follow. And
Wait, you don't find the channels that you hate and then just stay on them 24/7 and comment on everyone's comment?
Nope.
And just scream at the top of your lungs and have 50 sock accounts?
Nope.
So you can make stupid comments?
I've never made one sock account. Never in my life. I just see no reason. And there's people out there that have hundreds that will just go to your chat and yell a bunch of stuff, and they'll get booted, and they'll come right back with a new name. That to me is that's the definition of insanity.
Are you talking about the ass clowns that are always in your chat, going through all of their sock accounts?
Jeez, man. I mean, that they talk about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And these guys isn't that what they're doing? They're just going in, saying the same thing and expecting something different to come other than them getting booted. So I've never been a big fan of anybody who thinks that they can police what other people can think or feel. And people might say, Jaron, you're doing that. No, I'm not policing. I tell people all the time, if you want to believe that the stars are 25 trillion miles away and that you're spinning on a space rock flying through the vacuum of space and that nothing even moves or gets jarred and the North Star stays right where it is, and in every new year the stars reset again. If you want to believe that, that's fine with me. Go ahead. What I have a problem with is the fact that it's being taught as public education to children because they're at such an age that they can't get out of that. No toddler can defend themselves against indoctrination. Period. It's the secret of the ages. Is you need to get to a child at a young enough age, and they'll be whatever you want them to be. That's why these elite, that's why governments and stuff, they love children. They love children. Why? Because they can do whatever they want to them, and it actually turns that child into whatever they want him to be. Sad.
I was going to say because they're delicious to the elite.
Yeah, that's what I hear. But again, they get them to get into their minds so young, and so that's the problem I have is that if we're going to be teaching things as fact, they damn well better be facts, not just things masked with mathematics. That's not a fact. If every test and experiment shows the Earth does not spin, then you cannot teach people that the Earth spins. And when they say, well, how do we know that? Oh, because of these mathematics. Well, that's not okay in my mind. So that's why I use YouTube as my place to speak my mind and say the things that I want. And if people don't want to listen, they don't have to, Dave.
Yeah, your video, Pseudoscience, Earth Moves or Earth Doesn't Move.
Right.
Video is fantastic. But the problem is when a glober sees it, they just short circuit and they say, I'm done.
All right, so we're about to end this segment. Again, we're going to be going off of my channel onto the Ginger Sugar Bush 905 channel. So click the link if you could. Anybody, moderators, if you could drop that link, or Ginger Sugar Bush himself. And yeah, we'll see you on the flip side. We'll start taking your calls. We got quite a few calls lined up, so we'll probably ask people to keep it short. But we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Jeranism Monday Night Raw.